Jeff, what about you?
I'm doing good. It is almost my bedtime, but I'm powering through just for you, so I can hang out with you for tonight.
I appreciate that. You're the only person I would stay up late for, other than my wife and lots of the bands that I go
and
see.
and
But
even that's
but you're
iffy.
I mean you make like the top like 10 or 15.
Well, that makes me feel nice.
Yeah.
So what have you been up to?
So I think I've mentioned recently, maybe I've just told you I haven't like seriously played video games in nearly 2 years. I've played Final Fantasy IV a little bit, and I have some games that I plan on playing pretty soon, but I haven't played video games in like 2 years. It's weird. But I've listened to a ton of audiobooks. I'm currently going through. Have you heard of Dungeon Crawler Carl?
I have not.
So it's like I don't it's they call it video game lit. It's set up kind of like Dungeons and Dragons where like I don't know, you just have to read it and it's entertaining. It's not like the greatest thing that I've ever read, but it's pretty entertaining. Well, listen to because the audiobook is really good. The dude that does Carl's voice is really good because he does all the voices. Um and he's super talented. So it's a fun listen. I've been watching a lot of TV shows. My favorite shows from this past year were Task with Mark Ruffalo was in it. He was like uh, a police officer. He worked for the FBI. And it was really good. And then Pluribus, the show on Apple TV. That one's really fun. Um, really good. And then the movies that I've watched, I think I mentioned before, Al Pacino movies, or Al Pacino's become like my favorite actor. His movies are way more hit than they are miss.
Okay. What are the video games you are waiting to play in a little bit?
Claire Obscure, Expedition
Okay.
33.
I
Yeah,
played that.
that's
I couldn't get into it as much as other people,
mm,
unfortunately.
hopefully I will. I love a good RPG. So what about you? What have you I know know you've been playing some video games. What
I have been playing some video games.
Yeah.
Well, not as much. I'm very busy directing a show right now, as I said last week. But I did. Nintendo this week sent out their 2025 Nintendo Wrapped,
Right.
which is how it should go. I hate that all these companies send them out at like the beginning of December.
Mm-hmm.
Like the month of December doesn't exist.
Right.
When honestly, that's when people play probably some of the video games the most because usually a lot of people have a week off in that time for
Right. Right.
Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
But my top 3 games played were Madden 26, Power Wash Simulator 2, and Donkey Kong Bonanza.
How many hours did you put into Power Wash Simulator?
I think it said 46.
Okay. Not
And
bad.
I also have played it a couple times this week because I still haven't beaten the game.
Nice. I would assume it's just one of those games where there are unlimited driveways to Power Wash, so you
So
could
you
never
would
beat
think
it.
that,
Mhm.
but the levels are so fun. The level I just finished was like a roller coaster.
Mhm.
And then the level I'm in now is a museum, and the solar system room. So it's
Oh, that's
huge,
cool.
and it's fun because every level has its own story behind it.
Okay.
So like the solar system room, the reason it's so messy is because they were having a kids fundraiser night, and they were giving away chocolate bars, and the kids got their grubby chocolate all over the. But it
Exactly
even
what
gets
a kid would
crazy.
do.
And then as you're cleaning the rooms, like the story advances farther, like you'll get messages and everything.
Right.
I haven't done enough of that level to get extra, but one of my favorites is the movie theater level
Mhm.
where it's showing, I don't remember the name of the movie it's showing, but it's just a bad movie. And the creator or director of the movie is like, yeah, my movie came out and only 4 people came. And it was embarrassing because they laughed at it. And then they hated it so much, they had to bring their friends to come see it. So the next weekend, there was even more people there. And then about every time we get about 20% of or 10 or 20% of the place cleaned, you'll get another text from him talking about how more and more people just come into this terrible movie to make fun of it. So
Love
it's
that.
it's just silly stuff. And
It's the monkey's paw. He gets
yeah,
what he wants, but there are still consequences.
and they announced the original Power Wash Simulator was great. It had its DLC, which its DLC included Tomb Raider, Final
Mhm.
Fantasy VII, Shrek, SpongeBob,
Nice.
and they announced the first paid DLC coming this spring for Power Wash Simulator, and it's Adventure Time.
Oh, cool. I like Adventure Time.
So I've never watched Adventure Time, but just because I enjoy the game, I'll probably just get the DLC because I enjoy the
Nice.
game.
Cool.
All right, but let's go into some Pokemon news because Josh, it was a big Pokemon news week.
Big week.
We got a lot of news, and that is because Pokemon has announced its Lego sets that are coming out on February 27th,
Nice.
which is the 30th anniversary of Pokemon.
Okay.
Doesn't that make you feel old?
I when it premiered, I guess in 2026 in Japan, and then
Yeah.
or was
Yeah,
it
and
here?
no, 1996 in Japan.
Okay, yeah. Yeah. I mean, at this point in my life, everything makes me feel old, but this makes me feel ancient.
Yeah. 30 years of Pokemon. It
Mhm.
is crazy. I'm
Yeah.
going to share my screen because I have put into our outline some vid. Is it? Oh, hold on, folks. We're having some technical difficulties there.
There we go. I see it now.
Oh, I can't scroll when it's like this.
Hmm.
All right, we're going to do this a different way. We're going to cut this out of the main show. But the first one that was announced was the Pokemon Eevee set. And here's the thing. This is the issue I have with these Pokemon sets. They are all rated age 18 plus.
Mm-hmm.
Which, yes, Lego has an 18 plus. It's for us collectors. But I wish they would have done some smaller sets just for kids, you know?
Yeah,
I mean, I
but,
still would have got them.
for sure. But it is weird to make Pokemon an 18 plus set. I mean,
Yeah.
you can still buy it for little kids.
Yeah, this one especially.
Yeah.
This one, the Eevee one, is $60 and it is 587 pieces. And so that is what that one looks like. I mean, it looks really nice. I
Yeah.
will say. I do like how it looks. And then we have the Pokemon with the Pikachu and Pokeball, also rated 18 plus.
Mhm.
This one is $199.99, so $200, and it is 2,050 pieces.
I like the effect of it coming out of the Pokeball, like where the Pokeball's open and you see kind of like I don't even know what to call it, like the ray or whatever where it comes out of the Pokeball. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that is really cool. And you can't really tell in this picture. It's not big enough, but the stand it's on says 25 on it because Pikachu is number 25 in the Pokedex.
Oh, nice. Oh, yeah,
So
I can see it.
that's cool. People are comparing it to the Mega Bloks one, saying, well, the Mega Bloks one was so much cheaper and looks better. But here's the thing. I have some Mega Bloks that I've tried of their Pokemon. I had the Pokemon Center. They're
Right.
not as good as Lego.
Yeah, my nephew got, I think, the Charizard one, and I helped him put it together, and it definitely isn't as good a quality as
Yeah.
the Legos are.
There's times when I'm putting it together and I'm like, this is something Lego would not do.
What's the big boy one though?
The big boy one is we have Lego Pokemon Venusaur, Charizard, and Blastoise.
That one is pretty cool.
It is 6,836 pieces for $650.
You got $650 lying around, Jeff?
I do not have $650 lying around. I
They're
want this so bad, but there is no way I'm going to be able to get it.
they're putting these out right after tax returns go out.
That is a good point. So
Yeah.
they are expecting people to spend their tax return on this.
I mean,
It looks
assuming that people do their taxes early. I mean, it's a couple months before April 15th, but we got our W-2s the other day, and I came home and my wife was like, "Let's do our taxes now," and I was like, "Fine."
Yeah, Jesse is always on that, and we are gonna be going to doing the taxes soon.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this one looks really cool. I want this one so bad. I just can't justify the price.
In related news, go to our Patreon and pay us $650. That's all we need. Then we're shutting it down.
Then we have the Kanto badge collection, which is cool.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
So this one right here is the only problem is you can only get it as a gift with a purchase if you buy the $650 set.
Mm-hmm. Oh. Well, that kind of sucks.
Yeah. You only get it if you can buy it, because I'm like, well, that's cool. I would buy just that one, the Kanto badges.
Mm-hmm.
But nope, you gotta buy the $650 set. There's no way to get it. I am hoping I have a Lego resale shop near me that has gotten gift with purchases before. Right. I am hoping that they are able to get that for me.
Mm.
And then last but not least, there is a mini Pokemon Center. And with that one, it is only for Lego, part of the Lego Insiders Club, for 2,500 points. I looked. I don't have 2,500 points.
How much do you have?
I have 1,200.
So you need to buy. You need to get 1,300 more.
Yeah,
more points.
So that one also looks really cool. Which is another one. I'm like, why can't you just sell these?
Maybe they will one day. Nobody will get them, and they'll have overstock, so you'll get it cheap.
Yeah, and I didn't mention the Lego badge collection is 312 pieces, and the mini Pokemon Center is 233 pieces. So they are smaller sets. To me, it's still weird that they're labeled 18 plus, especially with them being smaller sets.
Right.
And I know it's because Lego is like, this is the adult line. And even like their advertising was toward the adult line.
Right.
Like the whole commercial they sent out about these was about these middle-aged people getting together to go catch Pokemon again. And there's even a line that says, ignore your lower back pain.
Get to the age where I can't ignore the lower or the upper back pain.
Yeah, so that's really all the Pokemon the news came out. I can't wait because we are about a month out from the 30th anniversary, and I'm sure that's going to be a supersized episode when it comes to Pokemon news.
Oh, for sure.
We're going to have so much Pokemon news. As I said before, I'm predicting a Gen 10 announcement, but we shall see. Going into our question of the week, which we asked, if you were randomly famous for something, what would you hope it would be? Strongest Muffin said, honestly, I don't want to be famous because a lot of the time famous people make bad decisions with their power.
Strong and wise, Muffin.
Yeah. So, good idea there. It makes sense, though. I would love to get famous for this podcast. I would say no one knows what I look like, but then again, we started streaming this and putting it out on YouTube. So now people do know what we look like.
Now you can see our beautiful faces.
Yes, and the views are going down. Kate said, I'm already famous for education, but I would love to be famous for my writing.
I would read your book, Kate. Fiction or nonfiction? I would read either one. I like fiction and nonfiction.
Kate is watching right now, so maybe she can tell us if it's fiction or nonfiction. Kate, what would you be writing? And then going back on our previous question, which is about a creepy place. Hold on. Sorry. Zyrus Doll about the creepy place question. I cannot talk this. It is too close to my bedtime, Josh.
Yeah, you're struggling here.
I am struggling. I would say I need an energy drink, but then I would never get to sleep.
You want me to take this one?
Zyrus Doll, on our question where we asked a creepy place that you have visited or explored before, he said, so when like a few years ago, I was at my grandparents' house, and in one of the closets had like a tiny door with like lots of lots of rooms. So me and my sister went in it, and then there was some tiny worms that were dead. As I was looking at them, my sister closed the door on me. I cried a
Ooh,
lot.
oof.
You know what, Zyrostol? I'm 37 years old, and I would cry a lot if that happened to me.
I would too. That small doors into large rooms is just inherently creepy.
Yeah, my parents' house has one of those like crawl spaces where it's
Yeah,
like a miniature door that that I think my mom like stores our Christmas decorations in.
right.
Uh, and I'm sure if I went, I've never I refuse to climb in there.
I have a small door that like opens up into a large attic, that's like in the back of a closet, and I've never read and I never will. I don't wanna know what's back there.
And then we have a couple of comments. Strongest Muffin asked on our video, it says, when you get to the Hoenn region, will you call May not Misty or just May? And I will say, Strongest Muffin, that is a long time going because we still haven't even got to Johto yet. So Josh
We
Hoenn is Ruby and Sapphire, if you didn't know.
Mhm. That still doesn't tell me anything.
It it's the games after Gold and Silver.
I still have no idea. Where
Okay, well,
how many years is it after red and blue and yellow?
Generation 3.
Okay, okay, that helps.
So, it's close-ish, but still a few years away from getting there. And I will say, Strongest Muffin, I'm going to guess that I would just call her May. The reason we call Tracy not Brock is that it's ridiculous that Brock was written off of the show.
Mhm.
And it was ridiculous that Brock was written off of the show, and we just don't like Tracy. We had an episode before we went on hiatus, and we just described him as white toast.
Yeah, dude's boring.
He's boring. We don't like him. If I recall, when we get to May, I like May and Max when they join. Yeah, it's sad that Missy leaves, but at least
Does she at
it's
least
not.
have a good send off? I assume.
I mean, yeah, it's the end of the series, so it's not just like a
Oh, well,
random. I'm gonna go with this girl I just met and clean her house, which is how Brock
right.
was sent off.
Your
But we will talk
sound
about
has
that when we
gone
get there.
out
And
and
then
your video
from the YouTube
is not
channel,
working. Oh, you're back.
say it's working on my end.
Yeah, it just came back. We're having technical difficulties in Alabama because it's cold. It got really cold and the entire infrastructure just shut down.
And then from a YouTube channel, KC Moto Mavericks, we got a comment on one of our shorts that we shared. And I believe this was targeted towards Josh. This was on our Logan Paul video.
Can we give some context? So there was a joke about Logan Paul having like the most expensive Pokemon card or something, and it came right after in the last episode the story about the person who like held up somebody and robbed them at gunpoint for some uh Pokemon cards. So it was related to that. I made a joke about us doing the same thing to Logan Paul. But the context of the person being robbed for the Pokemon card was not in the video that Jeff put on the YouTube shorts. So this is the quote that or the comment that somebody made.
So they said, bro, you look like the soy version of Zach Galifianakis in The Hangover. You couldn't assault yourself.
And he's absolutely right. I just wish I had that Zach Galifianakis in The Hangover money.
I will also say, Josh, you aren't a soy version. I know you. You drink whole milk. That's like the farthest from soy.
Oh yeah, bro, I'm from Alabama. I drink whole milk and
All
eat
right,
nothing but steak.
and then going on to
Education.
Kate just had one quick thing. When we talk about how the Japanese names, they usually have an exclamation point and a question mark, and she says that symbol is called an interrobang. I actually knew that, but I just couldn't.
I knew that too, but I usually do the question mark and then the exclamation point.
I don't know if there's a certain way you're supposed to do it, but I knew that in the recesses of my mind.
A cold, dark place.
It is a cold, dark place. All right. Don't forget, you can follow us on Twitter at Pokemon Snapshot or send us an email at thepokemonsnapshot@gmail.com. You can also find us on YouTube and TikTok. Just search for the Pokemon Snapshot. We post short clips on both platforms, and if you'd rather watch the full episode, the complete video is available on our YouTube channel. And if you're enjoying the show, leave us a rating on your favorite listening app so other Pokemon fans can discover the podcast. And also, in the show notes of each show, I share our Discord. So if you can join there, we would love to have more people talking with us. You will see the famous Kate going in. She goes by Mega Mom on Discord, and she is always giving. This is where we pull a lot of our interesting facts from.
It's the only research we do is whatever she posts in the Discord.
Yes. And sometimes we have conversations in there. We were talking about our favorite musicals and what shows we would like to play earlier this week. All right, Josh. Now our next segment. Thank you. I am struggling today.
You're driving the struggle bus right into a ditch.
It's those icy roads.
I know. Our next segment is previously on Pokemon.
All right, previously on Pokemon, Team Rocket's Magikarp submarine runs aground, leaving Jesse and James broke and pressuring Meowth to learn Payday, only for him to explain that learning to talk permanently cost him that move. After Ash unnecessarily sends them blasting off, Meowth washes up on a nearby island and is immediately surrounded by villagers in cat cosplay who are very serious about an ancient prophecy and very eager to get the ceremony started. Mistaken for the legendary Meowth of Bounty, Meowth embraces godhood, enjoying unlimited food, scantily clad dancers, and unquestioned authority, while ordering the villagers to drive Ash and his friends away to protect his cushy new life. When the prophecy requires Meowth to use Payday, his inability to do so is rationalized away with alarming confidence, leading the villagers to decide he just needs more battle experience and throwing him into increasingly dangerous fights. Jesse and James secretly intervene by tossing their coins and James' prize bottle cap into the arena, convincing the villagers the prophecy has been fulfilled. Realizing what his friends sacrificed for him, Meowth abandons the island, the prophecy, and the very questionable leadership structure, reuniting with Jesse and James as Team Rocket escapes once more in their barely functional submarine.
What a great summary of last week's episode.
Thank you. I tried my best.
You put all your energy into that, and that's why you're
just
spacey tonight.
Yes. All right. And going on to this week's episode. This week we watched the episode Tracy Gets Bugged, or as it was known in Japanese, The Honor of Scyther the Warrior.
Way better Japanese title.
It came out in Japan on May 20th, 1999, and in the United States on April 1st, 2000.
Yeah, it came out on April 1st because Tracy is a joke.
Yeah.
I don't even know who that is.
All right, Josh, let's get into the episode.
So, right before we jump in, the name of the episode is Tracy Gets Bugged. I was hoping this episode was called Tracy Gets Plugged, so we wouldn't have to deal with him anymore, but it's not that kind of show. As the episode begins...
This is the second episode in a row you have threatened violence towards someone.
Look, this is just the world we live in, Jeff. There's only one way to survive, and it's killing fictional characters. As the episode begins, Team Ash lands on Morcon Island. Is that what they call it?
Murcott Island. I actually had to look it up because it was very hard to understand in the episode. They say it real quickly.
Yeah, I tried, or I went back and listened to it twice, and that's all the effort I was putting into it. So
I went to Bulbapedia.
What is a Murcott?
Yeah, and this is one of the few islands that keep the name the same as the Japanese version. And a Murcott, because as we have noticed, all the islands are named after citrus things. Unless you're in France, where you have Banana Split Island.
No.
A Murcott is a Mandarin sweet orange hybrid that is commonly referred to as a honey tangerine.
Ooh, those are good. The narrator says, "It looks peaceful, but, well, you'll see." And that sounds ominous. So hopefully whoever that Tracy guy is gets killed this episode and really raise the stakes of the Orange Islands arc. They land on the island and Ash, completely dismissive of how hard Lapras has been carrying the team the last few episodes, unceremoniously returns Lapras to its Pokeball, and immediately a Beedrill nearly kills everyone. Notbrock throws out Meryl and Venonat, definitely who you want protecting you on the Island of Death. He says that this island is famous for its bug Pokemon, and we can all agree that, with the exception of Beedrill, which is by far the scariest Pokemon, bug Pokemon are the lamest type. Like, even grass Pokemon are less lame than a bug type Pokemon. However, as with all rules, there is one exception, and that exception is the subject of our episode tonight.
It does not surprise me in the slightest that not Brock is excited for bug type Pokemon.
No, not at all. Dude is dry white toast.
He would be the exact person that likes them. In the Japanese version, he does say he was excited to possibly see some undiscovered types, which I'm surprised they didn't throw in any Generation 2 bug types out there. This was around the time the games came out, so at least he had more of a motivation.
Yeah, that's fair. Misty refuses to go into the woods because she's afraid of bug Pokemon, and Not Brock calls her a chicken. Misty steps on his foot, and he makes some excuse instead of standing on business, and we roll the title card.
It's
and Tracy gets bugged!
I will say, Misty even makes a comment when she sends out Meryl and Venonat that they aren't bug types, though Venonat is a bug type.
Yeah. She's never been afraid of Venonat before.
No, which, again, is like, oh, let's bring this up now.
Yeah. As Team Ash walks through the forest, Meryl and Venonat hear some Caterpie in the distance, and for some reason, Ash starts fiending for catching a Caterpie like he hasn't had a hit in days. Misty drags him away, but when she runs away, they run into a Pinsir, and I'll admit, Pinsirs are pretty scary too.
I actually had the exact same note. Pinsers are just as terrifying as Beedrills.
I'll agree. I don't think they're quite as scary because Beedrills can fly, but Pinsers are still pretty scary. Venonat and Meryl get their hackles up at something in the forest that turns out to be the subject of tonight's episode, Scyther. Despite how much I hate bug Pokemon, Scyther, to me, is one of the coolest Pokemon. The only thing that bothers me, though, is like, what if it has to use the bathroom? How does it go if both of its arms are blades?
It just squats?
Yeah, but what if it has to wipe?
Have you ever heard of a animal wiping itself? They just kind of just go.
Dog, I have 7 dogs. Sometimes you have to wipe them. Scyther is injured, probably from a tragic wiping injury. But when Not Brock tries to give it drugs, it jumps away like it's speaking at an elementary school at a DARE conference in the 90s. The Scyther.
Hold on, Josh. Explain DARE, because I'm sure we have some kids here. Do they do DARE anymore?
No. They got rid of DARE.
I was gonna say, Strongest Muffin is watching us, and we have learned that he is a teenager.
Okay, so
Strongest Muffin, do they have DARE?
I don't think they have DARE anymore. I'm pretty sure they got rid of it because DARE was started by, I don't remember the dude's name. He was a corrupt cop from LA in, I don't know, 60s or 70s, something like that. He started DARE, which was, you'll have to look up what the acronym means, but it was an anti-drug thing. And they found that data has shown, at least to my knowledge, I could be wrong, fact check me, I'll admit that I'm wrong if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure the data has shown that in like the era of DARE, drug usage among teenagers actually went up. So in the war on drugs won.
It stands for Drug Abuse Resistance Education.
Well,
and Strongest Muffin said, "What?" Oh, and before I even looked, Mega Mom told us what it stood for.
Well, thanks, Kate. It's too late.
I did my own research this time.
for once. Scyther is mad, so of course Ash tries to fight it. This is 2 weeks in a row that Ash has made a situation far worse by attacking instead of de-escalating it. Like, what is he doing? Auditioning for ice? Venonat puts the injured Scyther to sleep, and Not Brock catches it, which is kind of like finding a dead deer on the side of the road, telling people you shot it, having it taxidermied, and then putting it on display in your house.
Okay, I have my own thoughts on this scene.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to lay this out for people. Not Brock tells Scyther to get in his Pokeball, and Scyther refuses. So the next step when someone refuses to go with is you roofie them and put them to sleep.
Exactly.
Girls, I just want to say, if you are in a bar and you see Not Brock, make sure you're holding your drink and do not go with him.
Ladies, for the record, stay away from Brock and Not Brock.
Yes, but I mean, that's what he does. He roofies the Scyther.
I didn't even think of that, so I'm proud of you, Jeff.
I know. I was like, I wrote this joke down, and I'm like, oh, Josh is going to come up with the same one. And then you went another way, and I'm like, yes.
Meanwhile, Team Rocket fly overhead in their hot air Meowth when the Beedrill from earlier flies straight through Air Meowth's dome, and Team Rocket falls to the forest floor. They encounter a number of the lamest Pokemon in existence. And Jeff, can we get some sound of all these Pokemon just repeating their own names?
Venomoth, 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 Paris, Paris, Metapod, Metapod.
I will say the website I get all my translation information from made a comment how the Pokemon is just saying their name is a lot less common in the Japanese version. So this scene probably sounded a lot better than just a bunch of people saying their name.
Yeah. Team Rocket is attacked by an army of Scyther whose leader has an X-shaped scar on its head. I'm going to call it Scyther X, which is an objectively cool name. It attacks. So come back next week to find out if they make it or if Team Rocket loses their heads. At a nearby Poke Center, Team Ash watches Not Brock's Scyther on this week's episode of The Pit, and Nurse Joy says it needs to relax in order to get its strength back. Nurse Joy calls Scyther an old warrior, and Jeff, you know what time it is. It's time for a lore dump. And this just isn't any lore dump. This is a Pokemon politics lore dump. And if you've been alive long enough to pay attention to the last 10 years, you know that a politics lore dump is like the diarrhea of lore dumps.
Okay, but before I go into the lore dump, I do want to make a note that Not Brock says, it looks angry. I'm like, Not Brock, of course it does. You forced it to come here without consent.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to kind of combine because the English version says something, but then the Japanese version actually goes into more detail.
Okay.
So in the English version, Nurse Joy says that Scyther was beaten for leader of its swarm by a younger, more powerful Scyther. Once a Scyther is defeated for leadership, it can't live with the group and must live the rest of its life alone. In the Japanese original, she even says that she is surprised because that Scyther has been the leader since even before she worked there.
Ah.
Which, to me, brought up a good question. Do you think Nurse Joy chooses where to work, or are they told where to go, kind of like missionaries passing along the teachings of Pokezeus?
Pokezeus. I mean, I don't know. That's a lore question, and that is your domain. That is the domain of your dumps, Jeff. Don't ask me to lore dump. So basically, the way their society works is just the plot of Black Panther.
I guess.
where like T'Challa has to fight Killmonger and to win the crown or whatever. It's been a while since I saw the movie. Later, they FaceTime Professor Oak, who tells them that Scyther is probably being a baby about its sense of pride being shattered into 1,000 pieces. It happens to the best of us, buddy. You'll be okay. Not Brock, potentially more self-aware than Ash, says that catching Scyther wasn't a true catch because it was already injured. Professor Oak figures that to make Scyther feel better, it needs to regain its confidence.
Professor Oak sounds really surprised that Not Brock actually caught a Pokemon.
Aren't we all, Professor Oak? Hey, oh, where we go. Elsewhere, Team Rocket survives, but Jessie's hair is cut off to about the same length as James's. She vows revenge, but Meowth says that they should play the slow game and try to catch the whole Scyther army. She agrees, but runs off towards them in anger. Meowth and James say they have to plan it, or she'll end up with her crew cut. And Jeff, can you put up a picture of Jesse's crew cut the way that they imagine it in the show?
It is something of a beauty.
It's pretty fantastic. I both times I watched this episode, I giggled at that both times. So back at the hospital, Not Brock apologizes to Scyther, and Ash has a good idea for once. He suggests that Scyther re-challenge Scyther X to regain his pride, and Not Brock says he'll help his Scyther train. Missy says Ash had to be right eventually, and that takes us into
Who's that Pokemon?
All right, so our Who's That Pokemon for this week? Again, not looking at Scyther because we've done him in a previous week, but we are going to look at Pinsir, who
I'm shaking already.
Who in Japanese is known as Kyleos. And Strongest Muffin says it's nightmare fuel.
It absolutely is, Muffin.
So some basic information on Pinsir. It's number 127 in the Pokedex. It is a bug type, but it does have a mega evolution, which is bug and flying type. Its height is 4'11", and the mega version it's 5'7".
So it's 5'7" in its mega evolution. Jeff, I'm 5'9". So it's 2 inches shorter than me.
It is 2 inches shorter than you. In its regular version, it weighs 121.3 pounds, and its mega version, it weighs 130.1 pounds, and it is known as the Stag Beetle Pokemon. And as I said, it mega evolves with Pinsirite. And Josh, I have shared a picture of Mega Pinsir. I'm going to share this with the group as well, just so you can, for those of you watching, you can look at it. But Mega Pinsir is one of those terrifying Pokemon.
Yeah, nope. If I see that, I'm taking, it's not a lore dump, but I'm taking another type of dump, and then I'm dying.
That may be one of the most terrifying Pokemon. Like, you thought regular Pinsir was terrifying. I think this is even more terrifying.
I agree. No, that is a no for me.
All right, going into Pinsir's origin, his name. Pinsir's English name comes from the word pincer, obviously, referring to its powerful gripping claws found on certain insects and crustaceans. The spelling is slightly altered to give it a sharper, more creature-like feel, but the meaning is unmistakable. The name highlights Pinsir's defining feature, its massive spiked horns used to grab, crush, and tear opponents apart.
That's terrifying.
Its Japanese name, Kyleos, is believed to derive from kairos, an ancient Greek word meaning a critical or decisive moment. This fits Pinsir surprisingly well. It's a Pokemon built around overpowering strength and finishing fights quickly. Some interpretations also suggest a phonetic influence from words associated with cutting or slicing. These are Kiru, which means to cut, Kamu, to bite, and Saku, to tear.
Kyleos is a cool name.
I do like Kyleos. That is a cool name. What is Pinsir based off of? So its primary inspiration is the stag beetle. Pinsir's most obvious influence is the stag beetle, especially male stag beetles known for their oversized mandibles. These beetles use their pincers to grapple rivals, compete for territory and mates, and rely on raw strength rather than venom or speed. Its secondary influence is the rhinoceros beetle. Pinsir also borrows elements from rhinoceros beetles, particularly in its thick armored body, the heavy forward-facing horn structure, and the sense that it's built like a living battering ram. Rhinoceros beetles are famous in Japan for their power, and they're often depicted in media as symbols of strength and toughness, traits Pinsir embodies. Pinsir's biology. Pinsir is a bipedal, I'm going with those science words, coleopteran insectoid Pokemon with a broad, dull brown body divided into segmented sections by thin lines. Atop its head sits a massive pair of gray spiked pincers that define its silhouette. Its mouth is lined with long, flat teeth arranged horizontally and has sharp, triangular eyes. Pinsir is capable of limited color vision and appears particularly drawn to the color green. Its build is uneven but purposeful, with short, thick legs for stability and long, slender arms for reach. Each hand and foot has 3 claws with 2 toes facing forward and 1 pointing backward.
He's just a stumpy little guy.
He's
just a stumpy 5'7" guy.
Stumpy little guy that can cut you up.
that will crush your bones in its teeth, in its mandibles.
Pinsir uses its powerful pincers to crush, toss, bludgeon, or tear opponents apart. It can lift objects weighing twice its own body weight and easily shatter logs. I think they mean bones.
I mean, it can probably shatter logs too.
Yeah, probably. I know, that was a joke. Once prey is caught, the piercing thorns and raw strength of its horn keep the target firmly trapped, and Pinsir will not release it until it has been torn in half. The horns themselves are surprisingly flexible, as shown in the Bandai Pokemon Cardass cards.
What is that?
I will have to... Can you do some research while I'm reading this?
I got you.
Okay. Where they display a wide range of motion. Beyond hunting, Pinsir has been shown to enjoy tree sap, as seen in Pokemon the Series episode A Sappy Ending. Pinsir inhabits temperate forests and dense jungles, where it either burrows underground or hides among treetops during cold nights that would otherwise leave it immobile. In Pokemon Sleep, it is shown burrowing into the ground to rest with only its pincers protruding from the surface. In the Alola region, Pinsir is known to have a rivalry with Vikavolt, but it gets along well with Heracross. Among its own kind, Pinsir judge one another by their pincers, which play a major role in determining popularity with the opposite gender. The thicker and more imposing the horns, the greater the appeal. Pinsir is capable of Mega Evolution, transforming into Mega Pinsir. As Mega Pinsir, it gains a large pair of translucent yellow wings with orange veining near their bases. Brown elytra appear on its back, each split by a pair of orange blade-like structure. Its arms lengthen, and a T-shaped spike forms on each forearm. The pincers on its head grow longer and more heavily spiked, while its eyes shift to a striking yellow. Upon Mega evolving, Pinsir enters a constant state of heightened excitement and rarely touches the ground, thanks to the newfound ability to fly. I mean, I'd rarely touch the ground if I could fly.
Oh, absolutely. I would never.
Mega Pinsir can reach speeds up to 30 miles per hour and uses its massive horn to pierce enemies before shredding them midair. Despite its size, it can lift opponents up to 10 times its own weight with ease and continue flying effortlessly, turning it into a relentless aerial predator. All right, did you figure out what Bandai Namco Cardass is?
So I'm gonna assume that it's Cardass. But it's not spelled that way. So I'm calling it Cardass. Cardass is a name given to Bandai's card vending machines and uses a generic term given to the cards sold by these machines. And then it goes into why the name was inspired by AIMDAS, Automated Meteorological Data Acquisition System. And somehow they ended up at Cardass. And then it says the Bandai Pokemon Cardass games are the first official set of collectible Pokemon cards dating from September 1996, a month before the first base set of TCG cards were published. These card sets were manufactured by Bandai Cardass between 1996 and 2000 in Japan. I just wanted to say Cardass at least one more time.
Okay, so probably before they figured out what their brand was. All right, let's go into some Pokedex entries. Pokemon Red and Blue says, if it fails to crush the victim in its pincers, it will swing it around and toss it hard. Pokemon Yellow says, that wording is just weird. Pokemon Yellow says, grips its prey in its pincers and squeezes hard. It can't move if it's cold, so it lives in warm places. Funny enough, Josh can't move when it's cold either.
I know. That's why I live in the most humid place on Earth, next to the Amazon.
Pokemon Stadium says, grips and tears at its enemy with the 2 pincers on its head. Enemies with hard bodies are gripped and tossed. Pokemon Gold says, with its horn, it digs burrows With its horn, it digs burrows asleep in at night. In the morning, damp soil clings to its bodies. I just love how. So I look at Pokedex entries as this professor is studying the Pokemon. And then you get these weird ones where, like Pokemon Gold, like we have nothing. Okay, we get that it burrows, and then he's like, huh, that dirt's sticking to it. I guess that's important to note.
He woke up just in time to see it coming out of the ground, and that's all he had to contribute.
Yes. Pokemon Silver says, swings its long antlers wildly to attack. During cold periods, it hides deep in forests. And I'm pretty sure Pokemon Silver is the only one that calls them antlers.
Yeah.
Pokemon Crystal says, when the temperature drops at night, it sleeps on treetops or among roots where it is well hidden.
That's got to be a big tree for that big, giant Pinsir to be able to sleep and hide down there.
Well, and that also contradicts, because the other Pokédex entry says it burrows into the ground when it sleeps. Pokemon Ruby says, Pinsir is astoundingly strong. It can grip a foe weighing twice its weight in its horns and easily lift it. This Pokemon's movements turn sluggish in cold places. Pokemon Sapphire says Pinsir has a pair of massive horns. Protruding from the surface of these horns are thorns. These thorns are driven deeply into the foe's body when the Pinsir closes, making it tough for the foe to escape.
It has thorns on its horns?
It has thorns on its horns. Pokemon Emerald says their pincers are strong enough to shatter thick logs. Because they dislike cold, Pinsir burrow and sleep under the ground on chilly nights. Pokemon Fire Red says its two long Pinsir horns are powerful. Once they grip an enemy, they won't release until the foe is torn.
Torn by the thorns on its horns?
And then it's forlorn. Pokemon Diamond and Pearl says it grips prey with its pincers until the prey is torn in half. What it can't tear, it tosses far. Pokemon Sun says it grips its prey in its pincers and splits them apart. Although it's a powerful Pokemon, it can't deal with the cold. Pokemon Moon says one solid blow from its horn is enough to split apart a large tree. Its greatest rival in Alola is Vikavolt. Then Ultra Sun says it gets into territorial disputes with Vikavolt. For some reason, it apparently gets along well with Heracross and Alola.
They're just bros. Pinsir and Heracross just chilling.
Pinsir and Heracross. Ultra Moon says, although it's tough, it can't handle cold well. When night falls, it buries itself in leafage and sleeps. And then Pokemon Sword says these Pokemon judge one another based on pincers. Thicker, more impressive pincers make for more popularity with the opposite gender.
Oh, I always thought humans were animals, but it turns out we're Pokemon.
For Pokemon, they're showers.
Yeah, they're definitely showers, not growers. They're showers and growers. He does have that mega evolution.
All right. New Pokemon Snap says you may have spotted Pinsir's prominent horn sticking out of the ground in the nature park at night. It burrows beneath the ground to protect itself from the cold. Then Pokemon Sleep says, although it's tough, it can't handle cold well. On especially cold nights, it buries itself in the ground and sleeps. Apparently, its two impressive pincers always stick out above ground when this happens. And then some Mega Evolution Pokedex entries we have from Pokemon Sun. The influence of Mega Evolution leaves it in a state of constant excitement. It pierces the opposite gender is really liking that. It pierces enemies with its two large horns before shredding them. Pokemon Moon for the Mega Evolution says, bathed in the energy of Mega Evolution, its wings become unusually developed. It flies at speeds of approximately 30 miles per hour.
What does that mean, unusually developed?
That's a good question. Because they look just like wings.
Yeah.
Pokemon Ultra Sun says after Mega Evolution, it becomes able to fly. Perhaps it's because it's so happy it rarely touches the ground.
Why not?
Because when I look at a Pinsir, I'm just like, yes, that thing looks happy. Do I need to share the picture of the Mega Pinsir?
Yeah. Nothing is angrier than a Pinsir outside of a Beedrill.
Yes. And then Pokemon Ultra Moon says it zips around at blistering speeds looking for an opening to skewer its opponent on its giant pincers. And that is our Who's That Pokemon segment on Pinsir.
Who's that Pokemon?
Back in the episode, Team Rocket takes out a bazooka to shoot at the Scyther army. And Jeff, can you get the audio of Jessie's bizarre line as she shoots the bazooka?
Hey, here's some goo for all of you.
They're going to have to slap one of those parental advisory things on this episode.
I may have to hit that explicit button.
Nah, it's not that bad. The Scyther army are covered in glue and captured in Team Rocket's net. Team Rocket has seemed unusually competent in the last few episodes, which I'm enjoying.
In the Japanese version, she mentions that the sticky stuff is bird lime, which I had to look up, which is what people actually use to capture birds.
Oh,
yeah,
that seems
so
inhumane.
Yeah, they don't do it as much, I think, from my research. I found that out.
Okay. Back in the hospital, Scyther does that that cliche thing where a character will rip all the cords and whatnot out and leave the hospital without being discharged. There's a prolonged shot of it pulling out a catheter right before it flies out of the window. Unfortunately, it drops about 20 feet outside the hospital. Not Brock tries to stop it, but it flies off to challenge Scyther X to the death.
Not only does it fly out of the window, it crashes through the window like it's the Kool-Aid Man. And if you don't get that reference, look it up, kids.
Yeah, we're not going to explain that one to you. Jessie starts taunting the trapped Scyther army, and honestly, she kind of should be thankful. Like another foot closer, and she would have lost her whole head, like my parents lost me that one time in Disney World. To be fair, they did tell me to stay with them, and I wandered off. But it was the '90s. Parenting was like the Wild West. Suddenly, the net holding the Scyther army is sliced open by the injured Scyther, and Team Ash arrives on the scene. They immediately start laughing at Jessie's hair. And Jeff, can we get audio of Team Rocket's motto? They've had some really good variations on their motto these last few episodes. And take it all the way through Misty's joke.
Okay.
What are you looking at?
Hey, where'd you get that new do?
How dare you! You insult my hair? Prepare for trouble!
It used to be there, but now it's stubble.
To protect my head from humiliation!
Too bad her hair went on vacation.
My gorgeous hair was my one true love!
They went together like a hand in glove.
Jessie!
James.
Now my hair's short, but it won't be for long.
And it won't stop our Jessie from doing what's wrong.
Harry!
How do they come up with that stuff?
I like your new hairstyle a lot, Jessie. Who cut it, a barber or a butcher?
Excellent. It's always funny hearing these clips without seeing the video, because I never notice all the quick sounds, like the Arbok sound. It always stands out much more when you can't see the video. It's funny.
Especially Lickitung sound on that one.
Oh, yeah. Okay, it must have been the Lickitung, not Arbok. Yeah, that one was funny. Team Rocket throws out Arbok and Wheezing covers the area in farts. Scyther begins to spin really fast, and all the farts are blasted away. Scyther looks tired, so Team Rocket starts to trash talk. Meowth says, or Scyther responds, and Meowth says that the Scyther said it won't let them take his old posse from him. Was it me or you who were talking about like the different ways was it me and you that were talking about the different ways Pokemon communicate, or was it me and my nephew?
It probably was you and your nephew because I could have
Okay.
just told you, yeah, they can understand each other.
Okay, yeah, because I was like, I don't know the answer, dude. You've spent like half of your life literally playing Pokemon, so you're gonna have to figure that one out. But yeah, the answer is yes.
It makes no sense because Meowth is typically the translator from Pokemon speech to human speech. I guess he just understands them all.
Yeah.
We did mention this, but in your original, you did not mention about Victory Bell or Lickitung. And I just want to say, it was a rare appearance from Lickitung. Jessie does not use Lickitung very often.
Yeah, I forgot she had a Lickitung. Scyther goes John Wick on Team Rocket's Pokemon, casting Double Team, which I thought had a really cool animation. It looks like the Scyther were being copied and pasted. Victory Bell is about to cast Razor Leaf, which Not Brock anticipates. So Scyther slices Victory Bell's vines. Not Brock says, like, just pay attention to the Pokemon and you can tell what their next move is. Arbok is about to go for the kill shot when Scyther X comes to the rescue. I usually will give characters shorthand names so I don't have to type the whole thing when I'm doing the script. So I don't have to type it every time. But Scyther X's shorthand name was going to be S-X. So I decided to spare Jeff's innocent eyes. But
I mean,
it seems like his eyes have only been seeing pincer horns all night. So so I guess the innocence is gone. The Scyther army teams up like an Edward Scissorhands and Sweeney Todd crossover and give Team Rocket some bad haircuts. Jeff, can we get a screenshot of Team Rocket's new dues here?
they have nice little mohawks.
Yeah, they had a close up, very quick close up in the episode, and you can see Meowth. His is just shaved right down the middle of his face where where the coin is. Team Rocket dashes off, and Scyther's pride is restored. Scyther and Scyther X have a bit of a bro moment, bromance, if you will. And Ash says that winning the battle did more for Scyther than any Poke Center could. So I guess this is like the beginning of Ash becoming one of those weirdo anti-vaxxers. Knobrock returns Scyther to its Pokeball despite unfairly catching one of the coolest looking Pokemon. And then he completely blows the celebration pose. So Ash has to show him how it's done. And that takes us to the end of the episode. And I propose we rename this episode The Unluckiest Scyther.
Yeah, my thoughts is that poor Scyther. It already has more years behind it than it has ahead of it and has to live the rest of his years out with not Brock.
It's like when an old dog will will be adopted. Like we adopted an elderly dog, but his last 6 years with us were awesome. The rest of this Scyther's life are going to be the opposite.
All
So
right,
what were your thoughts on the episode?
so overall, this episode sits right in the middle for me. Like,
Yeah.
it's a solid 5 out of 10 that's completely carried by Scyther being cool and Jessie losing a fight with, I guess, a pair of scissors.
Same.
Uh,
I said my notes were almost the exact same as yours. It says Jesse's haircut and Scyther were definitely the load-bearing aspects of this episode. I gave it a
Yeah.
5 out of 10 as well.
Yeah, without those two things, there's not a whole lot holding this episode together.
Yeah. Yeah, the only other thing in the episode was not Brock, and he's like a piece of like soggy white toast. So
Yeah, don't say
Now-
soggy because that means he at least has some flavor.
I don't think soggy gives it flavor.
Well,
It's just
because it
unpleasant.
might be soggy because of the butter.
No.
Going on, let's go to our question of the week, which our question this week is, what's something you're irrationally afraid of, even though you know it's not that big of a deal?
Train tracks, 100%. I get so freaked out driving over train tracks.
You would hate my town because we are filled with train tracks. I drive over them every day.
No, I would be paralyzed trying to go anywhere in town. What about you? What are you irrationally afraid of?
Ferris wheels.
Just do you not like
I-
heights in general, or is it just
I
Ferris
don't
wheels?
like heights in general, but when you've been with me, I love roller coasters.
Oh yeah, you're not
And
you're not
ro-
up high. You're not up high enough for long enough to get freaked out by the
Yeah,
heights.
I'm going so fast, but I hate Ferris wheels. So this In May, we went to Disneyland for the first time. Have you ever seen the Disneyland Ferris wheel?
I have not.
It is the most terrifying Ferris wheel I've ever been on.
Just
It has
because
two
of how-
cars.
Mhm.
So as it is going around your Ferris wheel cart, if you're on, half of them are on this track,
Mhm.
that as it's going up, the cart slides down the track.
Mm. Okay.
And you are just in your there's no seatbelts, nothing. You're just in your typical Ferris wheel bucket. And as it slides down, the Ferris wheel starts going like this and shaking back and forth,
Oh no.
or the bucket does. I did not want to ride them. My oldest said, "Yeah, we got to get on the one that moves." At the time, Zoe was 3.5, and
Uh-huh.
it flung her off her seat onto the
Oh.
ground of the bucket.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, so I hate Ferris wheels. I will ride roller coasters all day. I try to avoid Ferris wheels.
Yeah.
All right, so don't forget, you can follow us on Twitter at Pokemon Snapshot or send us an email at thepokemonsnapshot@gmail.com. You can also find us on YouTube and TikTok. Just search for the Pokemon Snapshot. We post short clips on both platforms. And if you'd rather watch the full episode, the complete video is available on our YouTube channel. And if you're enjoying the show, leave us a rating on your favorite listening app so other Pokemon fans can discover the podcast. All right, Josh, you have anything else to add?
Think that's it. Hopefully the children don't get offended by me saying card ass a bunch of times.
Hey, it's in the name. And we talked about pincers and how the ladies like their large horns.
This might be our most risque episode yet.
All right.
We're
So
attracting a whole different type of audience, Jeff.
please join us next time when we will be watching A Way Off, Day Off.